Well, good morning, everyone. We're looking forward to being with you again today. Adam and myself are really being blessed by the Advent blessings that Lisa Hett and Wendy Thomas have been recorded and running out now on YouTube and Facebook. I don't know what day we're on. I've lost track of the Advent days because it kind of started 2 days early this year, didn't it, Adam?
Well, yes, the days in December all just kind of merge into one for me, Carl. I mean, as I say, it's been great that we've had something for every single day of Advent. And yes, some people say that we kind of use our scripture engagement, our blessing engagement, just to run for the 24 days of December. But it's good to have something for everybody, because you'll remember, Carl, that Lisa and I had a conversation the other day about the remindment that Advent is a season. So yes, no, despite the fact that all the days are still all being merged into one, I'm still being richly blessed by listening to Wendy or to Lisa each morning share an Advent blessing, and it's encouraging to see that other people are sharing them around their social media too.
Yeah, and I just like it. It's on in the background for me. I play one every day, but I needed to do something on YouTube the other day, so I actually played the whole playlist through of where we are up to now, and I must say I came out of that feeling lighter, feeling more positive. A few things going on yesterday, quite intense, and it was really good. So you can go to YouTube. If you go on the NPN YouTube channel, you can select the Advent Blessing playlist, and there's a shuffle button on there, or you can just play them continuously through. And I must say, it's been really, really much a blessing. So well done to Lisa and Wendy in doing that.
I was going to say, why don't people do that? We're living in uncertain and unfamiliar times as we go into this Christmas period. Why not play the full lot in one go? And Carl, it's great to hear that you felt lighter as a result of doing it.
Well, there's so much negativity in it. Whatever news we look at is talk about the lockdowns and the tier system not working, and the vaccines seem to have gone quiet now for a few days while they're working out the best regimes for that, and so on. And there's a lot of doom and gloom around. So we tried to approach this year to say, okay, let's help give people a lift. And let's help people really think about the blessings of God bestowed on their lives, and really then come together to focus on what can we do at Christmas? Because, as we've been saying and sharing the last few videos, we wanted to do something that talked about physically meeting. We can't do that. Even though there's a break in the kind of bubble system, there's still restrictions. And a lot of people with any kind of background health condition are very much recommended not to mix with anyone. So, we then put the Advent blessings out. We put it together, Christmas pack together, two togethers in a sentence there. But it's come. The campaign as a whole has come together really well, and I'm certainly pleased with it. And the traffic we're getting on social media is excellent. And let's not forget, we also asked Stephen Durgis to do the Advent guide. And there's been over 520 downloads for that. You can still get that. You can retrospectively go through it as a season. It obviously is focused on Advent. Just go to togetheratchristmas.com. You can get access to everything we're going to have discussed and going to discuss today.
Brilliant. Thank you, Carl. And it is good that we are able to offer these, because one of the things that I'm having spent quite a bit of time with Wendy and Lisa talking about the Advent blessings is, both of them speaking really passionately about the importance of reminding that God wants to bestow a blessing upon you, irrespective of circumstance. And, on this week's Sunday at 6, we were reflecting on that scripture from the book of James that talks about the fact that we have, if we ask God to give us his blessing and to help us, he does it. And I love the fact that in the book of James it says he does it not begrudgingly. And so God wants to bless. I just picking up there, Carl, on your point around the kind of changes for Christmas, there is an awful lot of conversation about, what's going to happen. But actually, one of the things that we've said all along, irrespective of what's going on in the nation, wherever we are, whether that be in Wales or England or Scotland or Northern Ireland, wherever we are, why don't we seek to look with God's eyes to see how we can support those who will be alone at Christmas? Because, Carl, you and I have had the privilege to be able to talk into the media about the statistic about 1.7 million older people over 64 who are going to be alone this Christmas. And actually, that's probably just as I've been talking, I'm sure you've been talking to, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. And so as Christians, we need to look and see how we can serve. Yes, do it as we feel comfortable. The menu of ideas, we don't want to push anybody to do anything that they don't want, that they don't feel that they can do or want to do because of the fact that they're concerned for their own health. But nevertheless, we would love to see Christians in their communities, on their streets, seeking to support as best as they're able. And I think that's a great way to draw us to think about the menu of ideas. So, Carl, just remind us of how the menu works.
Well, I just want to pick up on something you just said there as well. It's 1.7 million over 65 the Observer reported would be spending Christmas alone. That's actually double the number in the same age group as it was last year that Age UK reported. But the lower you take that age group, if you said over 50s or over 40s, you're talking millions of more people who might be, for all kinds of reasons, not visiting family. We have Rebecca's aunt and uncle that would spend Christmas in London with their two children and their children. And they're not going this year, and neither is the family coming north. So, there's loads and loads of scenarios where, out of COVID reasons, particularly this year, people are not traveling, they're not jumping on a train and going somewhere, they're not coming home for Christmas, they're staying put. So we tried to come up with something, not even thinking it would be as bad as it is now being, where we could say, all right, as neighbors, we still live on the same street, we still are having Christmas in our house. What is it? What are the touch points we could do to our neighbors, for our neighbors, that would be really meaningful to them, helpful to them, and tide them over the Christmas period? It's not just about a one-hit wonder on Christmas Day. So we came up with this idea anyway. So you can see the sheets again. If you just go to togetherchristmas.com, you can download these as PDFs. And the idea was that there's 4 sheets here. There's one for Christmas Eve, one for Christmas Day, one for Boxing Day, and one for New Year's Eve. And don't get thinking that almost too much things to do. We were asking people on each of those days to choose one item from the starters. It's a bit like a menu. One item from the starters, one item from the main course, and one item from the dessert. And the things are then not food necessarily, they are things you could do to help neighbors. So, create or use a street WhatsApp group to start the Christmas chatter. You could do that way before Christmas Eve. But there's lots of people out there that don't use WhatsApp. So another one might be, does a neighbor that you know need a prescription pickup before Christmas to tide the medication over the Christmas period? Most people will go shopping the day before Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve. Does your neighbor have any last minute shopping needs where they can't go out? And they certainly won't get a delivery slot with Tesco's or Sainsbury's, Now this is a good practical one. Does a needy neighbor, so this is not necessarily a lone neighbor, have enough gas or electricity in their token meters? So about, I think the number was 25% of UK households have got a token meter. So on Christmas Day, if that runs out and there's no shops open, there is no electricity or no gas for that household. So sensitively just asking a question of that family and neighbor, or maybe, I don't know if you can get token gift cards, or I don't even know. Just pop a note to the door. Have you got enough now on your gas and your electric token? If you know that they have one, that might cost you 10 quid. Well worth a spend, because that will mean the difference of light and electric, or gas, cooking and heat for some families. So, that's another really good one. Take some toys and wrapping paper around to children of a needy family. If you have some leftover presents and you know that they don't, brilliant pre-Christmas. Adam, I don't know if you remember any of the other ones. Do you want me to continue to rattle off some, maybe for Boxing Day?
I'd love just to think about some. I just want to draw the attention to Christmas Day. It's one of the things that's part of the campaign that we're running is to get people to think about people both before, during, and after.
Yeah.
Because actually, for us, it is about remembering that people will do Christmas very differently this year. If I had a penny for every time I heard a politician or a church leader say this year Christmas isn't cancelled, I would be a very rich man. And I'm sure that would be the same thing for Carl as well. But actually, I think the slogan is Christmas is going to be different.
Yeah.
And so we need to think about people at their different points of need. So again, I love the idea, Carl, of the gas and electricity tokens for those people that still have them, because I remember living as a student, we weren't allowed to have kind of normal gas and electricity meters running in the house. We had to use the token system, and I remember the time when we ran out.
Yeah,
we'd even run out
halfway through cooking something, isn't it?
It is. And that reminder that we'd also use the emergency credit up as well.
Yeah.
And so actually being able to say to people, look, I'd love to top you up is probably a great gift that you can give somebody on the kind of run up to Christmas. And then just thinking about Christmas Day, some people will still be alone on Christmas Day, but there are some great things happening on Christmas Day that we would love to flag up. So on the menu of ideas, it talks about the fact that to share with people who may or may not be able to get to church. I've been staggered by just looking at the kind of church programs of what events churches are putting on in my local area of Bedford. Midnight Mass seems to be very much off the menu this year.
Yeah.
And Christmas Day also looks very different. I was at a church last Sunday and they were talking about doing their Christmas Day service together on Zoom. But how do you then start to connect with those people who only come to church once a year on Christmas Day? How do you then start to make sure that they get engaged? But, one of the things that we are promoting is the Daily Hope telephone line that we are delighted that the Church of England, Holy Trinity Church in Claygate, and Faith in Later Life is behind, and maybe just sharing that number, because there's going to be some great content specifically for Christmas morning. I know that my friends Steve and Pippa Kramer at Holy Trinity Claygate have recorded a special Christmas Day Hymns We Love that's available on there. So again, just bringing joy and comfort to people at Christmas, knowing that there's stuff out there. Just reminding people that there will be the Archbishop of Canterbury will no doubt be in the media. I know he's recorded a piece for Good Morning Britain. He's talking to Piers Morgan for Christmas morning. Again, just things that you can watch that will hopefully remind you of the Christmas message. It's been great to see that broadcasters have put quite a lot of emphasis here into doing that. So just to share that with a neighbour, to sit there and say, if you know that there's a bit of a residual remembrance of kind of traditional Christmas, share the stuff that's out there. And again, that's a great thing that people can do on Christmas Day, because you don't need to be older simply to want to find ways to connect into the kind of traditional Christmas Day stuff and celebrating the message that Jesus is born.
Yeah, and all of those things take 1 or 2 minutes. They don't take long, do they? Just ring somebody, let someone know a phone number or the time Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, is doing his Christmas message. Like a don't forget now, tune in. And then, and then there's other things, you might have an elderly lonely neighbor who's self-isolating, couldn't come round even if the restrictions allowed because they might have got background health issues, to ring them up and spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes and just ask the question, what were your Christmases like of old?
Mm.
What were they like when you grew up? It's so commercialized these days, isn't it? So, and for others, then it might be, okay, Betty down 3 doors down, who you know is on her own, is saying because she can't come to you, you can't go to her. You will make it an extra plate of Christmas dinner and just take it round.
Mm.
My mother and Rebecca's mum, they both got iPads, and they were both quite tech adverse, but they seem to like iPads. So during isolation, when we couldn't have Rebecca's mum particularly around for Sunday roast, we used to take some down to her. She'd warm it up, and then FaceTime her in to the meal that we had together. You could do that for Christmas Day. Some people could do that, So these things are just adding one extra thing on to what you're already doing. It's not a big extra thing that you've got to do. It's just adding something on.
But I love that idea of just giving somebody a phone call to say, did you know that Justin Welby's on Good Morning Britain?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that there's an opportunity? Again, it just reminds people that, as the title of what we're seeking to do this Christmas, Together at Christmas, is really all about. We're trying to encourage people to have that sense of togetherness. And just the fact that, you've made that phone call will show that you care.
Yeah, and we've already bought in our house little foil trays with you get with takeaways with the cardboard on top, and we'll do 4 or 5 extra Christmas meals, and we'll drop them around to the people that we know need them. And okay, it's a bit more work, but the imagine you're on the receiving end of that when Christmas is pretty bleak and you feel like nobody cares. And then that it's been prearranged, at such and such a time we'll be around, we'll ring the bell, we'll put the package on the doorstop, and have a blessed Christmas dinner, and then afterwards we'll check on you to see how everything went. What we've mentioned there actually covers most of the points of the menu of ideas for Christmas Day, believe it or not. And it's easy to do 2 or 3 of those things without it causing you havoc on Christmas or distracting you from your own family enjoyment time. What I'm really, really pleased about is over 200 NPN members have downloaded this, basically saying that they're going to do as many things as they're able. And that means we're on target right now, really before we've even pushed it, 9 days away from Christmas, to see about 2,500 acts of kindness in the community, which is amazing. And if you've downloaded it already, thank you. Just make sure you do some things. If you haven't, just visit togetheratchristmas.com, download the menu of ideas.
Carl, just before we go on, because I'd love just to pick up on one more thing before we finish today, but just talk to us through about New Year's Eve, because obviously New Year's Eve menu of ideas is a great thing, because obviously you will hear on Sunday, Lisa and I will be talking a little bit more about New Year's Day itself, and we'll talk that through in a bit more detail, but just kind of share with us, Carl, a bit about New Year's Eve. What kind of things are we encouraging people within the network to do on that day?
Well, so there's some very personal things there. There's some very practical things there. So, one of the ideas is to consider your prayer priorities for 2021. What's going to be your prayer focus? Who are you going to pray for on your street? Are you going to focus on a particular person or family? Others may be, NPN produces loads of prayer cards. You might want to drop off a prayer card into each of your neighbors and say, what is your 2021 prayer request? And then leave them, post that back to you, and then pray through those. Lots of older people, for company, they have pets, don't they? So and traditionally now it's become like a second firework night. So are those neighbours and pets ready for that fireworks moment at midnight? So just again ringing the phone to say, do you need anything? I know you got a budgie. Do you want to put a blanket over it, or whatever the recommendation is for that animal? Just to check that they're okay with that and have remembered that there's going to be fireworks going off at midnight. Church of England's doing a New Year's Eve service. How do we get the word out for that? And wouldn't it be lovely if some of the neighbours could tune into that? I don't know. Is it broadcast on BBC or ITV, Adam? Do you know?
You'll be able to find out if you go to the Church of England website and look for Comfort and Joy. You'll find all the New Year's listings on there. Simply because, as we've said about kind of Christmas Day, it's exactly the same for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and right throughout the Christmas period, there is quite a lot of stuff that we'd love people to tune into. So go to find the Comfort and Joy stuff. It's also available on social media, but love to do that because, again, as you say, there are people who would normally have done those things physically, but obviously we can't. And it's been great to see churches step up and say we're going to do these things online.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at Mark Pugh's stuff down in Exeter. They did an Exeter-wide virtual carol service. It was recorded, put out then on YouTube, and the papers picked it up. There was local TV and radio engaged in it. I think there was something like 20,000 people that carol service touched, more than if they had done it physically and people came to a venue, which is amazing, So, yeah. And then, we touched on prayer priorities. New Year's Day, we're actually then running a dedicate the year to the Lord in prayer moment at 10 a.m. on New Year's Day, a live Zoom call. So if you visit dedicatetheyear.com, you'll get all of the information you need. You need to register with us. So we can send you the login details and make sure you've got those. But wouldn't it be terrific if a few hundred of us got together and we said we're dedicating ourselves, our family, our street, our church, our community, wider community, our region and the nation to the Lord in prayer. It'll be hosted for 1 hour. It won't take any more than 1 hour. We'll have some worship to begin with. We'll have different people then leading prayer sections. Pleased to say Jonathan Oliadi is leading a section with us as well on that day. And, it'll be a really good time to say, Lord, for everything that's gone on in 2020 and for all of our aspirations and hopes in 2021, we come before you and we lay them at your feet and we dedicate our families to you. For all of those, I still got many people in my family that don't know Jesus. And I'll certainly be bringing those to the Lord in that moment of dedication in 2021, January the 1st, 10 a.m. You'll be leading communion that day, Adam. And we're just going to trust and believe together that the Lord will see us through. Come what may, we will move forward with confidence and really see the Lord come and touch our families, churches, streets and communities through the year next year.
In which case, Carl, I've got a kind of extra point A to add then, and also just to say next Sunday evening, Sunday the 27th of December, again in the same spirit of wanting to be a resource to support those who would love to join within the network together on Sunday at 6, Sunday the 27th at 6. We will have a special Sunday at 6. We've been having Sunday at 6s for a number of weeks and months, but we'll be having a special one. Carl, you're going to come and bring a word to us from the scriptures, which is exciting. And I know because I know what you're going to talk about, so I'm really excited to hear that. And then we'll pray. We will pray together, and Lisa will lead us in that. And then, as I say again, because of the leadership of MPN, agreeing that once again we'll have the opportunity for those that want to break bread together. And to do that in this week, in this Christmas week, when for some people they aren't able to get out to church, we're just providing that opportunity. It'll be a Zoom meeting. The only bit of that, because of the nature of what we're doing, the only bit that we are planning to put out at a later date is Carl's message. So if you want to come and join and you get a bit nervous about going, I don't want to be on a Zoom call because I'm scared of being seen, don't worry. The only bit that we'll be putting out in the aftermath of that is Carl's message. So it'll be a great time. It'll be good to see just more people. It's been good. Lisa and I have been saying this has been quite a community of us that have been gathering on a Sunday evening at 6 in recent weeks and months. But it'd be good to open that wider. And I think we've been saying, Carl, you don't have to be a member of MPN to come and join us for either the 27th or the 1st of January.
No, our work is a group of Christians banded together. As MPN's a movement now, and we are solely focused on how do we reach our communities for Jesus. That's the bottom line. We do that through praying for people, caring for people, and when we've got a trusted opportunity, we share faith with people. But we don't ram the gospel down anyone's throat. We're there primarily as neighbors and friends. And in that growing friendship, we get to share our faith naturally. So, that's an amazing opportunity for all of us. And that's what we do. There's about 8,500 people now connected into the network in various ways. Not everybody prays for their streets in an ardent way. Others are very focused on the Facebook group. I was just looking at 2 prayer requests that came in this week for a good friend who posts up messages from Word for Today, Carl Finnan. He's had major heart surgery. He's been having a tough time. More than 200 people have been rallying around him to pray. A friend of ours in Uganda, Fred, who runs a church, his daughter got scalded, heroin, got scalded about 10 days ago. And again, I think 300 people have rallied around him, and we've been praying for her. So they're both making progress as we mobilize prayer for them, and that reassurance that people are praying is awesome. So, if you're praying, thank you. If you're participating, thank you. Don't feel like you've got to sign up, sign your life away to join NPN. You can just get involved whichever way you want.
And again, invite other people to come and be part of that.
Yeah.
It's been really encouraging to have people who sit there and say, I didn't know anything about MPN, but somebody told me, and I've picked up a little bit about what you're doing. Carl, one last thing, because time is going to go away with us. I noticed that this week we have a book of the week that you'd love to share a bit more with us about.
Yeah, I rarely put this out on video, but this is such an exceptional book. And I've been involved on and off in publishing for years and years. But Peter Horrobin contacted me, who runs LL Ministries. And, a concern that we have that also came out in the How Are You Doing survey earlier in the year is about people's mental well-being. Now, that's not to say, if you're feeling down or depressed, you've got a mental health issue, but people are more concerned than ever about loneliness impinging on how people view the world. Do we look up or do we look down? Is our glass half full or half empty? So Fiona Horrobin, Peter's wife, has written this quite a substantial book on healing through creativity. So what does that mean, healing? Well, it might be that you are feeling depressed, you are feeling hurt, you are feeling abandoned, you were in an abusive relationship, and some of the fundamentals of any difficult experience that you have in life come back to some core issues, like they scar you inside. And what Fiona does in this, and is full color throughout, is quite a substantial book. You'll see artwork in here, and then biblical teaching on various aspects of overcoming distressing moments or times in your life and through creativity. There's some practical outworking exercises in here to refocus yourself. We were born in the image of Christ. Creativity came from God. So refocusing ourselves to say, I do have a hope and I do have a future. I am a creative person. I am going to engage and read and be blessed by this. I'm going to do some of the suggestions that Fiona makes. It's just a terrific book. It's not cheap. I think it retails for £30 if you go other places. We got a little bit of a deal. I think we're doing it for 25. It'll be on petersbrook.com. I don't think we've got that many left. So the ones that we do left probably 30 or so. They will be for Christmas ordering. We probably will get it in then in the new year again because it's so good. And we're going to list this not just as book of the week. We're going to list this as an NPN resource because it is so good. And for me to say that, you know me, Adam, I don't say that lightly. So yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend it. Healing through creativity.
When you flagged it up to me, Carl, I was quite excited by the kind of concept behind that, and so again would echo Carl's endorsement of it. It might be a great Christmas present for someone. I don't think it could be. It would be a great Christmas present for somebody. Just discerning who that person is that you might want to buy that for as a gift.
I've bought it already twice, and I'm going to bless a couple of people with it. It's just brilliant. So, you know, what it's like a ray of sunshine on a dark and cloudy day. That's the best way to put it. So.
And we all need material like that, and it's good that MPN is able to not just flag it up as this week's book of the week, and also to kind of have it available through Petersbrook, but also to keep promoting it and keep pushing it. So again, if you keep looking out for that material, we'll keep talking more about that opportunity and that work in the kind of days, weeks, and months ahead. Carl, I think time has.
I know we don't have to talk.
Well, that's why people sit there and go, whenever you and Carl are on, and I know it's not going to be short, but yeah. Carl's been absolutely brilliant to spend not just this morning with you, but also to work alongside you during this year. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all that you that you do for MPN to support and resources on our streets. And I'm sure many of us will be able to pay tribute to the fact that you've been a help. You've opened doors in this year. So thank you so much. And friends, as we look to 2020 Christmas this year, let's think about what we might be able to do to bless. Carl has blessed us so much by just the way in which he's led NPN this year, by opening lots of different opportunities to us. How might we this Christmas continue to bless other people, to support those upon our street? Carl, I would say a very blessed and happy Christmas to you, because we're not together on video for a couple of weeks together, and we'll be back together on Sunday the 27th. Yeah. But I know that we chat daily, so we've still got a couple more days to go. Yeah. I'm sure on behalf of MPN family, I'd love to just wish you and Rebecca and Ruben a very happy, blessed, and hopefully a little bit of a peaceful Christmas.
Well, it certainly has been an intense year in some moments, you know, trying to figure things out with COVID. And you know,
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say working with me, Carl.
Well, you know, I'd reciprocate in what you said, because many people don't know. You know, when I asked you to become a trustee and now you're vice chair, you were being paid by NPN to do the work you're doing, which you're now doing voluntarily. So that's a big ask, and not many people would have said yes. And you know, as you just said, we do chat most days, and it's an ongoing friendship chat more than it's a ministry chat. So the team has come together that we've got now in NPN. Lisa taking up the role this year as well of Director of Prayer Ministry, new Chair of Trustees. We've obviously thanked Jenny Bailey for her service. Rachel Fowler doing A Mile with Jesus coordination, and a few others coming in. You know, we didn't have 18 months ago. We didn't have the Facebook group, and that's been unbelievable this year. So I don't know. I'm gathering my thoughts that over the Christmas period, when I got a bit of time to breathe, I'm going to write a really good year in review message, and I'm going to gather all the stats together. I know, I really know already that we have reached more than 750,000 people this year. And I know that we've engaged with almost 200,000. I need to qualify that figure. So the different things that we've done. And that's a signature of NPN, that we're not forcing anyone to become a member first before you experience anything that we've produced. The idea is just come in and help and bless and pray for someone. So, you know, happy Christmas to you. And I know you'll have a peaceful time. It's really good that the year before last, we had our Christmas meal on August the 1st or 31st. I can't remember the date.
August. It was August bank holiday weekend, Carl.
Yeah. that kind of tided us over for the kids visiting and so forth. But yeah, there's more to come. We'll be back in touch with everyone over Christmas period. I'll probably be saying hi on Christmas Day by video, and we just want you to know you are loved. We pray for you. Everyone that comes our way that's in need is prayed for, and we are still believing together to see 260,000 streets covered in Christian prayer, with people being cared for, and the faith of Jesus being shared. Thanks, Anna.